Well, hey everybody, I'm the Crockett Coon'er, and this is the Crockett Coonhound Show. You've made it to Fireside Chats with the old Cooner here. It's February the 20th, 2025, and that means it's almost time for spring turkey hunting. It's not going to be long, folks, but as I've been scanning through the old interwebs there, it seems that there's a lot of folks that are getting into the outdoors. It seems that there's a lot of folks that are new chasing around the old tom turkeys, right? Now, granted, wherever you're located in the U.S. or in the world, your pursuit of the turkeys might be a little bit different. It just depends on where you're at or, what you're doing as far as trying to stalk these things. But I have made some other posts, and we're going to get into it just a little bit today. Now, I don't do a lot of turkey hunting anymore, folks, but at one time I did. I've got a couple of them. As far as using the old school bow and arrow, never had any luck. Didn't. But for the folks that are new to turkey hunting, let's talk about this. Let's talk about how the old Cooner here used to do it. Now, here's what we did, guys. We already generally knew that in a specific area there was a flock of turkeys. Hopefully, large flock. That's what we were looking for, but hey, one's all that counts, right? Now, what we would do is we would go out in the mornings. We would try to locate these turkeys. So how did we go about doing this? Well, we used an owl hoot because if you know anything about birds, well, birds don't like other birds. There's the old saying, the dirty birds, the angry birds. Well, it's just kind of the nature of any kind of bird. So we would go out, we would use an owl hoot or a crow call, and we would hear these turkey somewhere on a farm calling back to us. They were basically stating that that was their slice of heaven, not to come over there to where they're at. So what did we do? We went on over there. Now, we would try to get within range, but you always have to keep in mind for folks that are new to turkey hunting, turkeys have an extremely good sense of vision. They do. They can see, almost behind their head. I've never seen nothing like it. I think it's the way their eyes and things are positioned on their face. Okay. Not to mention, I have heard tell, I don't know how true it is because, well, I never asked a turkey, but I've heard people say that they could somewhat see in color. Okay. So that helps them. You got to be camoed from head to toe most of the time. Now, this is where a lot of folks that are new to turkey hunting seem to mess up. So I'm going to try to give you guys a few pointers. You've located these things. You've tried to be quiet. You've tried to get over there in a timely fashion. And now you're going to try to set up a display of decoys. And you're going to try to hopefully the real flock of turkeys will see them, and here they come. Right? Now, I would suggest here in spring of the year, especially located where I am, southern Middle Tennessee, folks, that when you set these decoys up, you look for the correct decoys. Now, myself, I like a bunch of feeding hens. So it's just a decoy that looks like a hen, the female of the flock, eating. And I spread them out to make it appear that there's a bunch of turkeys in this other flock. Also, you might want to put up a few Jake looking turkeys. And you can always tell the Jakes, if they do have a beard and things, it's usually smaller. You can tell they're not just fully developed tom turkeys, right? They're just not. Because when it comes to birds and the pecking order and these types of things, turkey are kind of territorial. They're like, hey, I'm the big bird here. This is where I live, and I am coming down there to find all of my girlfriends and to let everybody know I'm the big boss Tom. Okay? Now, most people can pretty well do that without alerting this flock of wild turkeys that you're in the area. which brings us on to calling. Now, as we know, there's tons of different calls. Most people will start off with some type of a slate call. You do have, though, if you're sitting there, you're propped up against a tree or something, moving your hand. Just that slight movement, turkeys will see it, right? They, like I said, they are just kind of the doorbells, almost like a squirrel to the wilderness. They just know everything that's going on around them. Now, that brings us to a mouth call. Most of the time, with a lot of folks in their setup, for everybody that's new, they use the slate call. We've located them with, like, say, a hoot tube. We've used a slate call or something to draw them in, and they've gobbled and made sounds off in the distance. We know they're coming. Then they swap over to the good old cut and purr. They're doing something there. They're using the mouth call. That way they don't see it as much, but everybody has that tendency to put their hand up there to get that more vocalization. All right, well, a lot of people do that. But that's where a lot of people mess up. They try to call too much. You got to remember, the animal that you're pursuing here, the tom turkeys, they didn't get that big by being unintelligent, folks. Right? Granted, food and everything played a major part in it. The number of the flock that they're in played a big major factor in that. But being intelligent also played a major factor in that. So you're trying to outsmart something, if you think about it, for you folks that are new, in its own home environment. Many times that can be difficult to do. All right. So where a lot of new people mess up is on the setup. They either don't have enough decoys, okay, or they put them too close together, because many times in spring of the year the flock is still together. They haven't spread out that you're pursuing. So you want to get your layout of decoys right, located them and things. You want to call them into you. Don't overcall, and definitely when you see them in eye shot, don't overcall. Because too much overcalling will literally scare them away. They just automatically know, hey, something's not right here. Okay, it's a tip from the old Coon'er here. Now, that's all in pristine, perfect way it should go, folks. It is. That's it. Now we've sat down and we've mouth called, and maybe we're behind some brush and things, and next thing you know, the turkeys show up, and one of them comes out and presents us a good focus of their head, and there's a big tom, and that's the guy we're after, and we give them a dose of the old thunder stick. Okay. But many times that's not how it goes, folks, for people that are new to chasing the old toms. A lot of times they will kind of come in under you. That's how I'm going to put it. And people are not ready. They're not positioned. They're not propped up next to a tree or a dirt mound or in some old stuff there that's fallen out of treetops and things. And, they're making movements. They're unshouldering. They're trying to get ready. Oh, the safety was still on it. They didn't have their finger there on the old go switch. And all it takes for a turkey, for those of you that are new, folks, is a little click, and they're gone. And you wouldn't think a bird that large could move that fast, fly that quick, get away from you that quick, but I'm here to tell you folks, they can. So one of the main things where new people mess up is not being positioned, set up, and ready to go. Because keep in mind, the turkeys, they hear good, they see good, and they're very cautious. If you think a white-tailed deer is cautious, you haven't seen nothing yet, folks. So now, let's say that you do, in fact, look for that perfect opportunity to take this tom. That in itself can be a bit of an issue. That is where I say, for all of you that are new to the turkeys, using a shotgun. Many times I've seen people use a 2 3/4. I've seen them use a 3. I've seen them use a 3 1/2. Depends on what type of choke. If you have a choke system on the end, you want a pretty snug pattern. You don't want to spread it way out. We're wanting, as they used to say, the old head chopper. Because many times, once you hit a tom, he just flops, guys. He does. It doesn't just do him in right there. That's just part of turkey hunting. I'm sorry for the folks that don't like hearing things like this, but maybe this video is not for you if you don't. I would suggest for all of you that are new to turkeys, doing a little turkey hunting, you figure out which weapon system you're going to use. You go out, you practice. Buy 2 boxes. Use one to practice. That way, when the opportunity presents itself, you are ready to go. Your skills are honed in. That's where a lot of people that are new to turkey hunting mess up. Now, here comes the next part of this. So we have taken this wild turkey. We've harvested this guy. You need to prepare yourself for the cleaning part. You need to prepare yourself for the holding this thing over your shoulder and walking 2 miles with it poking you in the behind. Okay? If you've never, in fact, cleaned a wild turkey, you'll be there for a second. I got a lot of feathers, and those have got to go. Okay? So, for those of you that are new to these things, I would go ahead, I would get me an idea of how you want to prepare this particular turkey to eat. Myself, in here in the southern United States, I like a good deep fried wild turkey. I think it's great. We've used cornmeal and things and fried them up that way, generally in a fryer outside. I do have a big Cajun cooker that Scooter gave me. It does a pretty good job. Of course, they're not frozen in things at the time when we try to cook them, because generally, anytime we got one, we cooked it, it was ready come that night. It was almost a, hey, we're calling people over. We did a lot of our hunting on the weekends and things, and everybody came to eat. But I wanted to leave you guys there with just a little bit, just kind of make you this small video, because I've become aware that a lot of folks are new to the spring turkey hunting. They're saying, hey, I'm going to try this. They're wanting to expand things in the outdoors. And, other sports like deer hunting and fishing, they're complex enough, and you have to understand the type of game you're pursuing. But turkeys are kind of, in my opinion, some of the advanced level. And for folks that are new, I wish you all the best of luck, that you will walk right out the very first time you go and you'll do well. But that is also the overall thing that makes a lot of folks get geared up for the turkeys and then decide, you know what, after one season, I'm not doing this anymore. Because in many areas, they're a bit more difficult to get than, say, something like dove hunting or whitetail deer hunting or bear hunting, or heck, even like the old cooner here, you've bought a 4-legged friend that chases the raccoons for you. So, doing this whole process, don't give up, folks. It might take you a while. I myself personally, that's one reason I'm speaking on this topic. I went for a good 3 years collectively. I'd say if you spread it out, it was more like 4. We saw some birds and things, but we finally, everything lined up just right, and I did get a big old tom. Now, that was many years ago, since which I've kind of give up the turkey hunt, though, guys. I focused more on my coon hounds. But anyways, for folks that are new to turkey hunting, preparation, continuously thinking about your setup, your decoys, making sure your camouflage is correct, which is another topic within itself. The bottom half of you looking more like the leaves and things, the top half of you, face mask and everything, mirroring a tree. So if they quickly glimpsed over at you, they can't tell it's you. Already be up on the knee, ready to go. And if you do those things, I guarantee you guys that are new, your chances of taking a big old boss tom is going to be much higher. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end this little small video right here. I say it all the time, guys. Stay safe on the water, stay safe in the woods, and if you're definitely going to go out this spring and go after the old tom turkeys, I would say stay safe and do a little preparation ahead of time. And stay tuned here at the Crockett Coonhound Show, and myself and Scooter will have you folks another video dropping shortly. Guys, have a great day.